Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you.
Every year.
All right.
I will create portable drinking water. Every year. Every election year, Chuka.
All right.
Thank you, Alex, for your contribution, Biko.
Divine, welcome to the morning show, Igbo. This is where we gather to share ideas, rub minds, and discuss critical issues, just like the one we're discussing tonight, water supply in Igbo. One state again. We're talking about Anambra, we're talking about Imo, we're talking about Abia, we're talking about Ebonyi, we're talking about Delta, we're talking about Rivers. And in Katana today, unfortunately, all the American the government, but we need to speak up about it because it's something that we have neglected, overlooked for a long time. We have overlooked it to the point that we are now willing to spend money and dig boreholes. When you look at our own neighborhood, any other thing, we have accepted it as a reality. So we are looking at the situation, looking at the implications, how it's affecting our lives, and we are using this opportunity to speak up about it and drive that conversation to the point that these people take responsibility as the people who are in charge of our states. Manding can on other states, because I go mmadụ. I'm ajụkwu n'ọbụla n'ebe a. Ọ bụ na ịbụ onye Abia, ịbụ onye Imo, ịbụ onye Ebonyi, ịbụ onye Anambra, ịbụ onye Delta, Rivers, wherever. Million Agba state, million Agba yard, million Agba. Come and tell us how it is going. Let's know the extent. Let's know the veracity of this issue, how much it has spread and how it's affecting us beyond the link. Now, request the mic and join us in the conversation. Ordinary girl. They will kick him. Ordinary girl, I know. I can't see you. I don't remember when I see you before, so I can't see you. Ordinary girl, how are you doing now? Okay, she is not available. All right, let's move to the next speaker. I think that should be Chikwere, right? Please feel free to also comment in the comment section. If you don't want to speak, if you don't wish to speak on this conversation, you can still put your comment on the comment section. It's part of the conversation. We can also bring it up on this conversation and see how we can, make meaning of it. At some point, we're going to start looking deeply into solutions. But I want to request that you share this space. Let everyone following you know that we're having this conversation. And when you man into water engineering, when you man on a government or anything, please extend this to the person. Share it with the person. Let them come in and join the conversation. If I can contribute, let them contribute. Into engineering or water related, engineering, anything, or you're going to water works or anything like that. And we figure, share with us about this issue. Please request the mic or go to the comment section and write about it. Whichever the case, just know that your input is critical. Your voice is important. So, Chikwere.
All right, Chuka, before I go forward, don't want to comment already that we can read.
Okay, let's just take a few speakers, then we go back to the comments.
Okay, that works. All right, please, like Chuka said, Mobruni will comment. Please write it in the comment section. I will be reading it, okay? All right, let's go on.
All right, okay. Chikwere, I'm waiting for you. We're waiting for you. You have the floor. If you can't speak, let's hear from Ozo. Ozo, one.
Anọ kọm ya nwanne m nwoke achọrọ m ili nri abalị mana nkata a abụrụ ga-eji wee ndị enyi asị m nọ ka hapụgo nri ya nchili.
Abacha ka ị na-achị ịta. Okay, asị na ọ na-ata abacha n'abalị.
Ọbọkwa abacha nwanne m nwoke ọkwa nke ndị oyibo kpọ tii ka m na-akwado mana ya bụ nkata a kaliti ya mkpa ka hapụgodi tii mgbe emechaa nwube.
Ọ tii ka ị na-akpọ nri.
Akwa tii. Biko kunle ekenekwa gị.
Chelo biko before you call me from abro. If I would kunie Igbo ka anyị na-asụ ebe a. Kunie biko.
Ibele njikwa na bọọlụ m.
All right,
kunye ajibusu na afọ gị Alex onye amara m ọnọbụ ebe ọ dịka ọpụ akwa mana achọrọ m ibule ekene na otito bugalia mana ọ dị nke ọnọzi na ihe n'anya mana nsogbu adịrọ ka m banye bụ okwu onye mwute n'obodo anyị mụrụ anyị na anyị na-ene ihe bụ oke anyị ka ọ bụrụ ihe anyị na-ayọta ayọta onye na-agbawa obi ọnwụ ihe bụ na ihe bụ oke gị nke ndị oyibo kpọọ ya it is your right mana anyị bịazi ọ dị ka ihe anyị na-ayọ ayọ anyị na-egbukwu m ikpele ayọ ndị na-achị anyị biko nye anyị nka nye nna anyị nka nye nna anyị nka ya bụ ihe ajọgbu onwe ya si esi gbuo nkakwụ amarakwa nke ị mana nọọ oke gị gọọmenti inye gị ọkụ amakwa nke ị mana oke gị gọọmenti inye gị mmiri ọnwụnwụ ị na-anwụ ijuke na onwe gị ihe mee ndị tanka ndị mgba mmiri ka esi akpọ ha ji agbaghalụ ike Enugu ha ka Anambra ha agbaga agbadata ichu ngụkwu nwe gị ka ihe mee o ji wee dị ụta kedu ihe mee na ide enwe mmiri ọnwụnwụ ị na-anwụ na be gị isikwuo ka igwuo nke a na-egwu egwu a na-akpọ wel ome ikwuo gọọmenti ala Naijiria ụgwọ na igwuru wel na be gị ihe a na-ekwu ọ bụrụ na aka ọlụ m nọ na ama m nọ ihe kwụ ọtọ ka m na-ekwu ọ nwere ihe m na-egbuchi aka na ya ọ nwere nke gọọmenti kwụ m ụgwọ si m kwuo mba m na-ekwu ka m si fụ maka na amarụ m arụ one fọm n'ụwa m bịara ogo nna m na-emejọ kịta bụ mgbe mmadụ ga-atọghata maka ụmụ arụ one ọ ga-abụ onye bikata ịnachi ya anya n'azụ ife arụ one ibigo ịmazị one fọgonu maka na iwe ịbịalụ bụ mgbago ka a na-eme agbadata na arụ ya bụ ihe jọgbu onwe ya sigbuo nkakwụ n'obodo ịmụnye ya anyị na-ayọ gọọmenti biko ha nye gị ọkụ ha dozielu gị ụlọ ọgwụ ha nyekwuo gị mmiri ha dozikwuolu gị okporo ụzọ nke good roads anyị na-ayọkwu biko ejikwunye eto gị akpịrị ma abịa kampen onye nke bịa ọkpọ sutu kenwe onye nke bịa oyiri akwa bịa na-asị gị na gị tụnyere ya na ọ ga-alụlụ gị ụzọ kulama nkuna na nne na-ekwu
kunye na ife na-ekwu biko kunye na ife na-ekwu
thank you danna onye bịa ọ dị ka ihe na-ayọ na ayịyọ mana ihe a bụ oke gị o achọ nke nghọta ya it is your right you don't need to ask juke na onwe gị mba ofesi ndị dịcha ka US na UK ifu ngo mgbe ndị a na-achịpụta anya asị gọọmenti ya biko nye nna anyị mmiri nye nna anyị ọkụ gọọmenti ha da-apụtakwu weli ya mekwuo nke ndị oyibo kpọọ kampen ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị ime akọtala onye nọ na UK nekwa na ịbanye na ị ga-etile mmiri mana ọ maka na ndị afụ na ihe ọbụla emere akụọla ha aka ọnya mee onye nke nyocha nsị o wele ọnụ anyị ka ya wee weli ya ficha iki ya maka na ọ mana onwere ya anyị ga-eme ị na-ayọ biko ka edozi ụlọ ọgwụ onwụrọ nke dị mma mmiri agaghị agba ọfụma ị na-azụ pịa wọta isi m na ọ dị nọmal ọ nwere ihe dị nọmal na ị na-azụ pịa wọta ma plastik wọta ị na-agụ maka na echeta mgbe anyị na-eto mgbe mmiri na-agba kezi ihe na-eme ama nkọkwụ mgbe onye na-ajụ ya agwala ajụjụ dị ilu onwe ya kedu ihe na-emezi n'obodo amụnye gị na ya na ị na-ayọzi ihe niile ịbịakwa ụlọ ọgwụ iyokwu ma moskito ịmakwa na ụlọ ọgwụ ị nọ na ya na ị na-akwụkwọ beshit ọnọdụ ndị ọchịchị adowezi mụ na gị kịta ụlọ ọgwụ ịnọdụ na ị na-ayị arụ ụbọchị ọbụla gafere ụnụ ị ga-akwụ ụgwọ akwa atọlụ gị na akwa you pay for the best spread bedsheet atọlụ gị you pay every single day ị na-ayọ ka enye gị mmiri bụ oke gị mmiri bụ oke gị ihe a bụ oke gị dịka onye a na-achị n'obodo ị nọ na ya mana ị na-ayọ obi ka ị na-esekpụla nke enye gị abịa enyekwa gị anọdụ ewulu taksị akụji ka enu na-anị ha ewulu taksị apịala ebe niile ichi bulu taksị ọ taxation ka ndị oyibo si kpọọ ya chibukwasị ndị na-achị ị ga-agba n'ụgbọ fụ na ihe niile ha na-achọ dịka mmadụ ị na-achị dị zuru ezu na ozuru ezu gafe agafe onye mechazi anya bụ ihe ikwuwezie maka agba nke ịbụọ bụ taksị mana ọ bụrụ mgbe ọ ga-abụ nnọdụ ebe m bi na n'ihe bụ nchọ mmiri njejebezi m ụlọ nchọ mmiri njejewe mba na-efu nchọ mmiri njejebe atara layout nọ na Anambra nchọ mmiri na obodo amụnye m ya nsifọ m nneni jewe nnobi na nna achọ mmiri onwezi onye na-ekwu maka gọọmenti nke grassroots ndị nke njizi n'ego a na-enweta ebe ihe ọbụla gụ ha maka na ndị be anyị si na ewu nke izufu ụzọ ụmụ esole ya na azụ nwere ihe ji ya onwe ebe mmiri ya so ebido gbalụwa ọ maka na anyị na-etili ndị ya mkpu onye nke luza itieli ya mkpu ka m gwa unu ihe ọ dị ka ya ọ dị ka nna pụtalụ were ụgwọ akwụkwọ ọlụ nwa ya ịchọka akụbalị aka ọ na nna ya ama n'ọlụ ya nyanwụ ka nna junu ọ na nna mụtalụ nwa na ama n'ọlụ ya ka ọ na-alụ enye gị ọkụ itiwe ọp nepa ifu na ụmụ ihe na-eme anyị ndị ejidego ụgbọrọ anyị chịkọ ọnụ pịchachachacha ya otu esi apị akpụ. They have conditioned our minds that you cannot even able to speak up again. Ebe mbivu na ya tupu n'ọnụ nke m kịta mgbe nchi ikwu well akwụ 20,000 naira ma this is the same government that could not provide water for you and I paid ị ga-ejekwu ndị ọgbọ na-eche agụ if not ebuli ihe ijekwu well onye anụ na-abịakwanụ edistọbụ gị ebe anyị na-egwu well ọnwa akwa mmiri na-agba na bịa ọkwa pịa ọta ka ọ na-anwụ pịa ọta na-ele ịgba 15 naira ọkwa ya ka ọ na-anwụ na bịa mana ọ bịa na ngwa na-edistọbụ ngwa na-egwulu ọra wel ọbọ nọọsụ gị ga-ekwunye bụ mmiri na ọra ka ị na-egwu ndị bi na steeti abịa na-ekwu mmiri kedu ebe ị ga-ebido ichi ịlụ gọọmenti ụzọ ijekwa ụgwọ na local level ị ga-akwụ ụgwọ yes echi ịlụ ụzọ na ichi idozi ụzọ irube gị ụzọ si na ya batabe gị ị ga-eje local gọọmenti jekwa ụgwọ onye ọbụla n'ebe a bụ onye Igbo bụ onye ana Igbo mana ya na-ekwu bụ eziokwu ya bụ ihe bụ mgbawa obi a na-eme ka ọ dị ka Igbo ohu n'ala nna gị ebe anwụnyekwa gị ebe anwụnye gị ị na-ayọ biko ka enye gị ọkụ ị ga-ayọkwu biko ka akụnye mosquito net n'ụlọ ọgwụ ị ga-ayọkwu biko ka enye gị mmiri ị ga-ayọkwu biko sọsọ n'obodo a amụnyela anyị ya hapụla Naijiria na ndị Igbo ebe a ka ị ga-ayọ biko n'ihe niile ịta ụfụ ịchụ ego ịta ụfụ likwu ego gị ụfọdụ ga na ebe a gasị m ekere otu ị ga-esi ta ụfụ wele ego ịma na ị na-ata ụfụ ichile ego gị ọkụ na-adị ọkụ adị ọnụ ị ga-eji gote fuel ị ga-eji sụọ jeneretọ anọkwa n'enyi ya chibanụ solar panel amakwa m mana ama n'ụwa m bịa n'iru ka m na-aga ihe ọ pụta bụ n'ụwa ị bịalụ onwekwu na onye ga-epu eru n'ebe a ka anyị ncha ha wee nọdụ ebe a ma mmụọ na-ekwu okwu anyị mepụkwa n'eru ana ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anachiekwa n'ebe anyị si bịa kedu ihe a ga-eji cheta gị kedu ihe a ga-eji cheta m ọ dị ezigbo ote mkpa maka na ndị be anyị si na a na-amalụ nwa esi n'ime ụlọ apụ ezi ada esi n'ezi abata n'ime ụlọ mba ada emekata omenelu mewe omenala a na-emewe omenala hapụ omenelu ihe a bụ oke gị ụfọdụ ihe ndị a na-eme ha ma maka ya ọkwa a na-eje mba ofesi ọkwa mbọsị nke ọzọ gọvanọ anyị jere France mba ọkwa mbọsị nke ọzọ Soludo je London ọ na-ada ha afọ otu ụzọ ebe a nsa adị ka m na-ajụ ha adị no seen it Soludo ọkwa ọ na-eje na UK ọkwa DSS adịghị esi ya n'azụ ọkwa amị adịghị esi ya n'azụ ọkwa polisi adịghị esi ya n'azụ ọ na-ada ha afọ otu ebe a nsa adị a na-elepịa ọta ebe ahụ ọkwa a na-afọ otu healthcare system nke ndị oyibo kpọ ya sa adị iya ta ụfụ chụ ego takwa ụfụ lie ego gị takwa ụfụ ya ọya takwa ụfụ ma mbọsị ị ga-anwụ you cannot even rest in peace as an average Igbo man amụ n'ala Igbo ebe because of the condition these people have shallow-minded our brains the way they have conditioned our brain that will practically beg them for everything abịa na campaign asị gị na a ga-alụ n'ụzọ unu akụwa aka na a ga-eti unu mgba mmiri unu akụwa aka oge nna m sịkwa na okenye akwanyere onwe ya ugwu ụmụaka na-ejikwa n'okwute atụbịa isi when an elder refuses to respect his or herself then the children will surely show that elder his rightful position maka oge elugo mgbe ọ ga-abụ ndị abịakwa n'ibe gwa anyị ya otu esi agwa anyị ma ahụghị na ọgacha na-ekwu ihe m ga-emelu unu anyị si ya nke ịnụ ga-anọ kedu ihe imefụtalụ nke ndị oyibo kpọ accountability I think it's high time we need to start asking that question. We need to start asking these people these questions. We need to. Maka na echiri ọgwụ jide anyị. Onye Igbo na-agba mbọ. Mana ihe ọ na-ayọ bụ ọnọdụ ọnọ ya ka ọ dịwanye mma karịa otu ọ dị mana ọ na-agbakwa mbọ niile ịpụta na-amị ọbara ịchọzi igbu ya igbucha ogi na onye ga-achị igbucha ndị na-achị ogi na onye ka ị ga na-achịzi amụkwa nka ndị nwere akụ na uche ka nsi wee nwee igbucha ndị ahụ ya anyị mebe gị na ya na ndị achịgba isi ka igbucha a na-ekwu okwu insekuriti dị n'Enugu ka ọ n'ala Igbo ebe gburu mmadụ akpa ntị ifu onye ala akwụrụ ụgwọ bụ media publicity ọpụtasị na onwere onye egburu n'ala Igbo ebe ndị ụmụ nwaanyị pụta n'ime ọfịa na-asị na-ekwu ihe ha na-eme ha ị na-asị na ịbụzi ụmụ nwaanyị anyị na-achọ ibochisi ha ọnụ ọ pụta na onwere ihe eme ha ụmụ nwaanyị anọkọta hụla ala nnọọ pụta nnọọ n'ụzọ tiwe mkpu egbuo ha mbanụ anya dị enweta ya ana oge elugo mgbe ọ ga-abụ ndị a pụtakwa isi ya nna nke ịnọla n'oke ihe imefụtelụ ọ ga-abụ na onye emete ha achọtakwa na onye ọzọ tinye na nke ka njọ na mmadụ bụkwa nwa dịwala onye bụ onye ụbịam nke dị isi nke nwe dị nkọ enweghị isi nke nwe isi adịghọ nkọ ọ jọkwa ya onwe ya sigbuo nkahụ ọ bụkwa ọha m nọ na-ekenekwa m ndị be anyị
ọzọ ebe a gospel any me save if I record edit Adobe n'akụkụ I love this. Thank you so much. Ọ dị ka ito na kesa ebe ito na New Heaven biko ọ dị ka ebe nwa ogbe m
eto m na New Heaven eto m na Mulumba ebe a mụrụ m ebe nka nto tupu m kwagazie na
amụrụ na Lumumba
eto m na Lumumba ebe nka m
mụ nwa sokwa na Lumumba
ndị Lumumba na abụọ
ka ị na-ekwu okwu akpọ mba na-ekwu kpọọ Nzimiro na-ekwesị na-ekwe na anya kwa nwa ogbe m eso m na Lumumba na
obodo adịgo ka ọ ga-adị mana anyị ga-enyere onwe anyị aka oge elugo mgbe anyị ga na-ajụ ndị ajụjụ ekenekwanụ m
daalụ nne onye bụ iji ghọta ife a ụmụ anyị maka ọ dị bifọ anyị maka ife adị bifọ na-ajụ ọ na-akụba adịrọzi nkụkọ gịnị ka ife bụ the problem a na-aza dọkịta na-aza all kinds of things na-asụ oyibo asụsụ oyibo nwere and enwere space nọ before so this guy Harry nwe ife ọnụrụ ekwu sị na anyị na-eto ndị a too much so easily and that resonated so much with me because a na-ekwu ya a na-agwa ya ndị mụ na fa na-akpa nkata bụkwa ndị Igbo n'ebe a sometimes ifa na our bar as ndị Igbo dị so low right now we are very easily impressed very easily impressed obele ife anyị ga-akwa anyị etibego mkpu mana ibe enu and that is because of conditioning na-enye gị crumbs oge ọbụla a ga-enye gị bread butụrụ ibu like sliced bread ị na-enye anya ịmanye enu because ị na-afụbe sliced bread in a very long time or conditioning but ọ na-afụ m ofu when I see people who are exposed to the sliced bread probably who live abroad afọ ebe a na-enyekwa sliced bread ọ na-akụrụ onye nwe aka o nwere ife ọzọ kwuru ebe a ọ metụ m n'obi ọ sị ọ na-abụ nna na-akwụrụ ụmụ ya ụgwọ akwụkwọ na-akụrụ ya aka onye ga-akwụbụ ụgwọ akwụkwọ before onwere onye
ịma na enwe one popular inu anyị nọ na-eto dịka na nke o mere ma ọzọ I think na anyị need to revise that maybe na enwe ebe ọ na-work because that ideology bụ ike ọ bụrụ isi na-eji eto some of these people ka ama na ga-eme ọzọ but those people ito ha they are just taking you for a ride onye ọbụla e nyere ọrụ rụọ ọrụ gị ịrụcha ọrụ gị isi ebe anụ pụọ ka onye ọzọ rụọ I think we need to revise that
maybe the understanding
maybe it's working against us.
Maybe the understanding of that proverb is a problem. First of all, onye a na-ekwu ọ bụ dike. Onye a na-ekwu ọ bụ dike. Ọ bụrụ dike, anyị ma ihe bụ dike. Onye a na-ekwu abụrụ dike. Dike bụ otu ịnọ kịta na village unu. Ije na village, elute m ife email oge email ife email. Ije na village unu. Jee na-enesi ụmụaka nene na akwụkwọ. Wezi ka anyị mara ife a ga-eme ka ụmụaka agwụ ike ime improve on their studies. Ekpọ ndị ụmụnna ibe gị dị concerned una wee kwado together wee kwado ụmụaka wee nene akwụkwọ wee bido mebe ọfụma. That makes you dike. Onye ọbụla mmadụ bụ dike. Na ịbụ governor does not make you dike. You're a servant of the people. You're not dike. Ọ bụrụ your money, ọ bụrụ your resources. Mana nke imere iji ego gị. You will your own time. Nobody paid you for that. The governor is on salary now. The governor is on allowances and they go for every day in a government house. These people are living a life of party every day. And we how many official cars? Do you know how much are they doing for security votes on this for these people? KAGN. No governor will decay. No governor is a decay.
Anyway, governor only because state.
Exactly. You're sustained by the state. You are not, the state is feeding you, the state is feeding your children, the state takes you abroad for medical leave or whatever, the state transports you from one place to the other with convoy. The state provides you with security. The state makes sure that your life is highly comfortable. As in, highly comfortable. The state places you in positions where you meet important people you would never have met in your life. The state puts you in a place where you make decisions that affect everybody's life. It doesn't make you decay. It's just a privilege. It's an honor. It's an honor because they voted for you. Basically, you're a servant of the people. So you're not a decay. Decay bụ onye were nke oji nwoke akpatago ego or nwoke nwere skills. Or say, okay, ka m were my skills jee mee ndị mmadụ empower. Onye a mecha ụdị ife a ga-etu ya n'ọnụ. Because his job. It wasn't your job to do that. It was just something you felt as a sense of responsibility. Not necessarily that it's your obligation. But a governor, it's in a state. This is my job. So mayor, nobody needs to clap for me. People should only clap for you when you have exceeded your responsibilities. Members nke ikwu na ị ga-eme nke onwere onye mana ị ga-eme nwere self nke onwere onye mana anybody ga-eme. For instance, let me give you an example. Otu Enugu dị now. Asị na edozigo ụzọ n'Enugu. Mmiri na-agba n'Enugu. But na alụwagozi power plant n'Enugu because na enwe coal. Na enwegozi Enugu adịgozi independent of the other national sources, energy sources. In fact, the Enugu supply is Anambra, not supply Igbo, not supply Abia, not supply Ebonyi. Because of the initiative you introduced with partnership with some companies, power companies. That is one. Next year to go up. Then we partnership with one Japanese company now electronics in Enugu. Because then we'll go power plants. Now I lose certain electronics get out in Enugu. Or now assemble. Now I lose my chips. If any in Enugu. When you do those kind of things, and our technical schools now, with world-class education. No matter go see trains here, they can go and work in Germany, they can work in Russia, they can work anywhere, but they need to work in Enugu because they have enough factories, because they won't go power plants. When you do those kind of things, it may exceed the family expect of you. Your government it is your obologe, it is your brain advertising with innovative ideas on how to generate economic activities and projects. That is what will make people call you DK. Or when you do the minimal. No, the bare minimum doesn't make anybody DK. So this is the reason why I respect you as a governor. I respect anybody that is on authority over me, but I don't revere them. You will never hear me revering a governor. Unless the governor may go offend now. Because this is what I should expect. I know Azogi, the Anambra, the Imo, Ebonyi is the worst. I know we are behind. We are far behind. Don't be comparing yourself with Nigeria. This is the mistake I know, governor. Ndi will not compare Wefa to Nigeria. It was in Nigeria. It was in the whole world because so we have seen what life can look like. Anyway, let me not go on a ranting tangent. I want us to just, look at this more and see if we can find solutions. If I can suggest, because sometimes, you never know. Somebody might be listening to this conversation. This space now, this space. Or when they're not anonymous, because at the end of the day, one idea can make a difference. One thought can make a difference. So that can add value to this conversation. Invite them, but go on again. This conversation. Coming and share, so we can make the most of this conversation and get something out of it, because we are doing something objective. Okay, if I am Enugu State, as a state, the government 200 years, 200 days now. Okay, I got to go. Yeah, I got to go 200 days now. Or probably 100 days. I got to go 200 days. So I got to go 300 days. So Kezi had again. What is going on? Everybody's any excuse now. Hey, now many bus pipes. When you say those kind of things, you reduce yourself as a leader. Because for you to run for governorship, you are telling the people, what are the problems of the state? It means you have done your job. You've done your homework. You've done your research. You've interrogated the situation. You've interrogated the problems. You've consulted with people in different areas to understand the state in Nigeria. You don't come and make promises when you don't know what's going on.
So, okay. Another thing, sir, even if you have made a mistake, when we are about incremental rollout, the last time in Enugu, I was somewhere on the side of Damija. After me about Mmiri no na apụta. I saw somebody already go the camera na ebe ahụ. Sị m na ndị a bịakwa. Ọ kwa ese this one kịta. Etinye ya n'ịntanetị na Mmiri na So I was just laughing. But what they could have done is incremental rollout. Ọ bụdị na onwe let's say na Transekulu kita or even a small section of Transekulu na Mmiri na-agba ebe ahụ. Imani made achieve that small section. Then it's still okay. And then in other sections, small. Yota. Then when hope. I see that many are going to side ebe na Transekulu. No ga on Agba side because for instance, places like Apapa, that be need in Mmiri more than even other places. Doesn't mean others don't need anyway. But if you go from Ubo, Doko, all those kind of places, you need release here bit by bit. And when you have at this point, and when I promise, so I think, and then another thing, but only yogi may promise. Of him, people know what I told her promise. He didn't promise. He didn't promise. Oh, don't get accountable. So, I think that first of all, we know that the water is important. Secondly, let them just do it step by step. And not be late. Rather than waiting for a time, I'm gonna be taken to bam, Mmiri about everywhere, which is not practicable. Let them roll it out. For challenges, improve on it. Go in more machines, may all those things. That Mmiri about everywhere. That is my own suggestion on it.
Thank you very much. And if I can cook all not go with some people not a government. I not by far. How far they close to them on a government anyway. Again, say hi. Because we are all educated people now. Let us not start sounding like people now around. A company and a company you will sack the people immediately. But we're not gonna run the place. It doesn't make sense. We're not mediocres. We claim to be excellent people. I told him if I could count exactly can these people just decide, choose one cluster, just one cluster. Well, I mellow sample. Now if I get member, I be my announce na radio and TV. I get very project I get senior na papa. In the next 3 months, every home na papa. In the next any timeline. Mbobido baba, I send them biko na feedback. On abana beg a radio program. Because on a radio why na abana beg na papa. On your na on a phone. It's not difficult. And there are many ways to get feedback. It's okay. Now confirm I'm going to next place I need general in the next 4 months. Due to this and this and this and this and that. Kenya medals of saying other places. And I got face by face. When people see that they don't know you have a phone and hope. The pressure on you also reduces.
Then in a problem, he share it publicly. Sometimes now government, I don't know whether they feel that now. I don't understand.
Inferiority complex.
You want to come and give people. See, people appreciate to be part of the solution. Iburo Alpha and Omega. If you have issues, thank God 9 on 2025. As simple as in space, governor, yeah. This is challenges I'm having. This is challenges I'm having. please, can I have recommendations? People will be so more than happy to give you recommendations. Because one thing I know is people known as Twitter, for instance, a lot of them are super intelligent, super advanced, very wide in terms of knowledge and experience. Okay, on at this kind of place and share ideas, you won't get the best of ideas. You can 10 people, mama will create in a brain high in a boardroom. Or those people each with decision to be able to move society forward. If you come to places like this space and ask people, this is the challenge I'm having, or a crime, nobody expects you to do magic. You will get practicable solutions that you can implement and still get the glory in nature. So I think it's important that aside from trying to say photo, we did this, we did that, come out and engage the people that you are leading. They will help you. The issue now when I'm Mmiri, I have tried this, I have tried this, I have tried this, I have failed. People beg and say, no, you did this wrongly. Mayor, meet these people. How get this one? This. When you get this kind of diverse kind of ideas, trust me, you will get it right. You Chuka, him and I will go different kind of conversations here at different kind of topics. And onye ọbụla na-ege ntị must have learned a lot of things across different kinds of conversations. So we need to the ọbụrụ nke ọ ga-abụ once in a month governor abịa kwuo cultural line plan ya cultural line plan ya amamfi again till another year. All these things will be rubbish. Let's get ourselves down and engage the people. All the cool guys, you remember that time? I don't think it was this space. Ogano Nekumaka Ozo one that the other guy, I think the chairman came. He was saying whatever he wants to say. At the end of the day, when people started bringing opinions, of Owazie, things that traditionally he could have never seen. So, in concluding, what I'm basically saying now is, Nda Anachi, this is 2025. There are now technology that have never been available in history. Things as simple as X-Space, whereby people from all walks of life can come together in one room in an hour or 2 hours, hear all your problems, and give you the most practicable solution, both for the short term and the long term, so that we can collectively build a society that works, not that thing that is in your small mind that if you finish doing, it will never even be sustainable. Thank you.
In my in fact, they wanted him the most. This is actually an economic opportunity, in fact, a business opportunity, actually. I mean, how many homes can we in Enugu? Think about that. Imagine then, well, a properly built metered system that is not expensive unnecessarily, but covers everybody. Mmiri bata na beg enwe meter, prepaid meter. And if I had come on obodo Igbo, kwụọrọ onwe gị ụgwọ ịkwụ ụgwọ nwere mmiri gị bọsọ ọbụla nke ị kwụrụ ụgwọ ya gwụrụ mmiri akwụsị ịgba ịrịchaji kwa ege mmiri ga-agba akwa ọzọ. Or enwe just a meter a way esi eme ya in 2025 that can work. It set up. It will generate money for the government. It doesn't even have to be run by the government. It can be a PPP. And so many people.
Can you hear me, Chuka?
Yes.
Okay. Like Asikam Yogi, the amount that are moneyed in this country, I don't see. What is the purpose of
your connection? No problem. I can't hear you. Can you guys hear her?
Oh, they can my back on you.
No,
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Chuka?
Yes.
Yes. Wonderful. So Alex is very spot on. Nine Mobile is after my life. But anyways,
other choices. You go and choose now.
My brother, akụkọ nke ahụ another day. He kwuru about telecoms. Mekwuka. Mana, ima he mereni. Kemgbe a mụrụ m ruo taa. It just seems like every single thing bụ ihe welfare. Ya wuru nnọọ ka everybody ka anyị where plenty. Water should be basic. It should be basic. Anytime they try and do one small thing, and if they are doing that money, it's not even for the commonwealth of the society. It's to channel it into some kind of private purses that doesn't even get to the commonwealth of the same people paying these things. If I not Jufabo, I keep saying that anytime I'm saying anything about Alibo is not big. There is no reason why things as basic as water, shelter, welfare is being looked into. Eh? If water that is, if the eastern part of Nigeria has a lot of access to water beds, apart from Enugu and maybe Ebonyi situation, I think other states are surrounded by water. Why can't these most final solutions be done? As over time, as we are progressing, it gets better. Like you said, Shuka, and also like Alex said, this is 2025. 2025, kind of water problems, and it's not natural bed water problems. It's not water problems induced by maybe one catastrophe or something. It's just human catastrophe, and it's so disappointing.
Choka, that commercialization part of it, they were very brilliant though. Just the way I know on my estate, because the purpose of eating a meter system to be able to put some level of regulation, because him and Mmiri the free, man the pipe have
They waste, yeah.
they waste here, so it will not be, it will be a big problem. But if they, even if they don't want to do it, let them allow us. I can even make those kind of investment too. Because some of the water is what people need. You build a massive water recycling system, then it distributes all across homes. Teenage metered system, right? So you're not going to recharge your phone bill. You can't. It's just a way everything will fully underground. So those kind of things, even if they don't want to do it, let them allow us. We can do it. So that we can even make, because you will make so much money that it will never stop, and people will have quality water at a much more affordable price that they can never imagine. So I think that is important. As I just talking now, just thinking about it. So it's something that if they can't do, because as urgent, just like NEPA, they have given it to private organizations. Let them privatize water now. People will build. The only matter is that they can build a system so that, it will still be a win-win. They take tax and then you still make your value. So I think that way can also be a very practicable solution, so that
It will
water
have to
can
be in
get
some
to our home.
places. It will have to be in
This is
some
how I say it.
places. Maybe
I
the
brought a
urban
professional.
areas.
You can start from the urban areas and then go to.
The guy in the check you work as our co-host, man. I know run since. You can speak now. If you're in the clear, you can speak now. Hello? Ordinary girl. Okay. This is what I'm thinking here. Alex, I brought me a professional in water engineering, but just by looking at this thing critically, there are many ways this can be done. Let's say the government says we're going to play a role in this project, but we want businessmen to come in, right? Let's say Enugu as a case study, Enugu City as a case study, first of all. We will go and take care of the source, where the water comes from. We will go and maybe we'll rebuild the reservoir, or even just take care of the source first. Take care of the source. Then we can have investors who will now take the clusters. So, if we have a reservoir on one, or made the pipe into one side. Only also well New Haven, or reservoir around New Haven. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm just thinking. And we're piping from some places to New Haven. Only also well independence layout. Allow reservoir, and each cluster we can wear its own different source or its own suitable technology. But at the end of the day, government go with India. So because the government is a provider of the source, the people are the distributors of the water and the managers of the projects. Faculty, government faculty, government will share here. And even that one government they develop as a source. It doesn't even have to be funded by them only. They can find one water engineering company in Nigeria here or outside Nigeria. They can partner with you can invest so and so amount of money. Let's do feasibility. This is how much it's going to cost to rebuild this whole infrastructure. Okay? This inflated nonsense. Then, if it's going to cost this amount of money, you can come in on a PPP. For the next 30 years, you're going to be sharing from the profits. You're going to take in maybe 40% for the next 30 years, or whatever percentage, if you invest. If I get over the next 30 years, they will invest. At the end of the day, and we're different stakeholders. So the costs are not too high or too heavy on the government. So even the management will not be too high or too hard for the government because they are not even the one dealing with the people. At the end of the day, their own is to regulate and make sure it's not expensive because it is the basic need of man. Ordinary, affordable, very affordable, and available. But most importantly, or the effects get a halt to the body. If they can actually think like this is just the basic. When they bring the professionals into the room, ndị Igbo nọ na diaspora ma ife a na-ekwu kali 200. I get Mutafa. Just sit in a meeting on Zoom. You don't need to come to Enugu. Sit in a meeting. Call them. Because no, gentlemen, I'm Nibo in Abia State. I'm Nibo in Yemo. I'm Nibo. Find a fit. You find it. You find an anya. Kefulo. Atwolo galo if I am. If you are really, really sincere, you will find very practical, viable solutions that are sustainable. And if I figure Elosia it will be again. No. If I could say before so that the next governor Gabata, the onus will be on him to maintain it. Then when that has happened over decades, it becomes your own legacy. Nothing is more important than that in this life. When you hear go, judge anybody on a sick bed, up to death. Joy now. Let's move to the next speaker. Chikwere Ganiru. Hi. Ordinary girl Apugozo, even Alex Apugozo. All right, Chikwere Ganiru. Chikwere, your hand is raised. You have the floor. Okay, let's go
pending
to
when Chikwere comes online.
Your fantasy.
Right? Can we read some of the comments?
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Okay, so thank you everyone that has written their opinions or suggestions in the comment section. We have quite a number. So I'll just start from the very beginning, yeah? Or rather what I can see first. It says, Elizabeth, not the queen, says, I'm just short of words. I don't even know what to say. The government is just treating us as an animal. Okay, the government is treating us as animals. I'm happy this type of discussion is raised. Thank you so much. So if you are like Elizabeth, not the queen, and you're happy we're having this conversation, please just give us some kind of encouragement by using your emojis. Guys, let's see your emojis. Can you share your emojis with us here so that we feel appreciated for bringing up this topic and having this conversation?
All right, let's move to. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you. Let's move to Mecca. Mecca.
Good evening.
Good evening. One day.
Fine, all the more. Na call the person like I wasn't expecting nigga Ozuboketa, but let me just this whole thing, all I think can we disconnect. That's because I sometimes I'm not wrap my head like care because right from independence time, can we that independence? Especially with the likes of Aziki, where that is especially in the reside in Enugu as politicians, businessmen, and all that. their mindset, the different from the leadership, not just in Enugu, but across Igbo states. For instance, independence layout, bo returnee engineers when they employ alongside some Israelis, develop independence layout. I think the Israelis were the ones that developed the three arm zone, but the engineers, the indigenous engineers, mostly would Anambra, because how much Agoa Afa streets, their villages and all that, which is cool. Like Fumoji street and all of that. Man, you can job because they are trying to show what happened in GRA, that Black and African people can do that as well. And for my own generation, you might not know Nenugu was almost like, oh, India before Saida. The Europeans were the ones staying in GRA. Speaking of the Europeans, ha Bidonowa Nenugu as at from the records from 1909. And there is no way Haga mere resident na Habiba Buko without water. We all know the essence of water. Ndiocha cannot stay that long without water. So does that mean that the former European quarters, which is current day GRA and environs, how make sure has to go to the issue of water as early as 1909? And my mom to na co-camp, and she said that she also grew up with tap water. And my dad to na Asata area, Otokwa with water. Moa, somehow I to side Ogri Road. I took with water, telephone, everything. Like some of those, especially to with shower. Like what is it that bad? To the point that in the last election, it was the citizens cannot hold it. It was the verbal conversation. It was a conversation going on everywhere, and then the politicians now killed in. They didn't know how bad the masses now feel about that conversation. The passion people, maybe got like radio stations, the passion people, then we'll do like a calling program. Mana, the attitude is my governor, Jiwe addressed that issue. First of all, he's the eventual winner of the election, and he first of all said, I think 180 days or 90 days, I think said 90 days, or 180 days, sorry. Then after that 180 days, Obido Kawaza, it had become more depressing again that whether I'm a whitewash or whatever, it was a white man, I think it's an Australian, they had the Enugu Water Corporation. So if white people, a white man cannot fix this thing, does that mean that we don't that Naya Bayego?
Onya major be a whitewash. Open the
White
woman. It will on your chatting idea. You got to naturally mean anything. Meanwhile, I catch on your time. I come with hug. That can be a whitewash.
I'm finding Ebuzo West na pipe. Now in delay for that one, especially when they want it no. So the social media people now started complaining. Not go again our comment section, the governor and there. So I think he held a space. There was a space say hold to Nyawa Anajia question. So the issue of this water, because it will always come up, because it was, and the thing they call that to go down as compared with during the election, because during the election it was very high. So the first few months na his administration, he knew na only did it all better accountable. Man, now on the kadatin that go down. So nime space sound ajoya or say na some of the pipe anywhere, but the ones they wait for it, not quite British install. So now over the years, Alochago Main Road there, Alochago some buildings there. now and new constructions going on. Am I gonna affect that now? With this new guy heading the place now, NED to now go new pipes. I think he mentioned asbestos and what for plastic or metal. Like from these elected people, they will even confuse you the more. Well, whichever the thing the water can be. As now the place is on Agba, no like 5 days in a week. Even that 5 days is not even 24 hours. And the disconnect are like, so who is supposed to be complaining? Is it the elected people known at the House of Assembly? Or people like us? Because the way it's supposed to be, it is India on represents na House of Assembly, each state's House of Assembly, not just Enugu. But we are having this issue with water. Then the House of Assembly are supposed to be discussing it and bruise the pressure, the people nenyeha, where because how about the legislature, because they are to the executive. It is not like that. That is not what we are seeing. So I'm struggling with cable disconnect. See,
government put disconnect. And what are this? See, there's no. I don't believe in that. What the heck can disconnect?
No. No. I believe nowhere. And all the uchendi mado.
And what the hell disconnect?
Because let me take you on this one. Let me take you on this one. During that election, attention the mado. People were interested because now hagaoka. If you discuss election, go and get your PVC. People be more there because initially politics na Igbo land, they can want them be reality, which is really, really, really bad. So when I say disconnect, that's usually where I'm coming because
so can
number.
Sorry, can they feel na how we disconnect and disconnect from what? Can you explain that?
The ordinary people are connected with Indian Achiha to know that it is their own duty to put pressure on Indian Achiha to provide this basic water. Show me that your topic here. Water, the most basic. And I know that somebody in the quote is now 2025. We're not even supposed to be talking about Enugu as a city. We're supposed to be talking about local government. In my village, anytime we make and go tanker. I have lots of their numbers. First of all, I get the Lego. So, and chain Obona Nga so when Obona we have in my village, I will first of all start calling them like a week earlier because I told them how. So, although in a local government, I'm from Udi, and my local government, they got on Twitter. Guess what? The guy in Aro, they got a low residential house inside the local government premises.
Because can I find your local government chairman?
Somebody Ude, I think he's an engineer. The guy is from Agba. Udi local government, the guy now residential for according to him and some of his supporters, because I try to understand like what's that about. I say most of people now they elected for this local government thing. The Hanchan is from the city, so since I'm going open up local government chairman who the local government, I would relocate to my village. Now he should relocate to his village. See about Nabia after all the same local government. So why put expenses just like in Soludo lower, make a big issue now on a low executive this thing. So to round it up, I still maintain. I know I thought they can a couple of times. Go on, I'm still disconnect. I'm still standing by it. Ndemado are not connected with Indinachiha because even some of these people name all this tanker. Some of us our neighbors, some of us our friends. They are the gist Nedugo Bukwana has to frustrate this whole water thing. Mana, just like Indina suggested, private individuals to even own just like discos and for electricity and power supply. Can we have something similar to that now water? And I bet you if the governor try at this area, he will be surprised what will happen. How from nowhere people will try to in the tanker. Ebe has a bit of Mmiri na Ugo Onyama na 9th mile. So, and that one, the closer to Enugu. So why wouldn't the State Water Corporation get water from that Ugonyama? Why would they go to that Ajali, which is far from Enugu City? Come see here.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, never before. Or your uncle, because case you could disconnect. All the kids disconnect go so much.
No.
It disconnects going to matter so much. Or when
No, I'm
oh no, any pole. They will like it and say it costs check. Let me think it. Actually, what you're saying, we find it these days. Two things can be true. Yes, it is true that the people, for long, when I say the people, I mean the masses, have disconnected themselves from the people in power because there is distrust. They don't believe in the actually, and how do I believe in how the powerless? No whatever they do will not make any difference. But also, the other truth is that regardless of what the people are doing, regardless of their connection or disconnection, the important thing is that you are elected. You are a public servant. You have a responsibility to the people, to posterity, to the Igbo race. So, a responsibility to the Igbo race, to the Igbo interests. Because it is about our survival. No, that is double tragedy. In responsibility, whether the people are holding you, whether people know enough about it or not, your job is your job. Mmiri is some things they need. You should know that these things. Draw line if in the mad name. It's in this one, you must take care of this, right? Regarding the rural thing, maybe because I with him in the beginning that pipe bomb water was the project for the urban locations, whereas well, and most importantly, borehole was the rural project. So communities were contributing money, building boreholes in the various clusters in the villages. So sometimes town union, but that was then. Now we are in 2025. We should be at that time where anybody will pay tap million. Not because no one ever generator can pump 1 million. No. I'm not going to say be tap na about 1 million. Quality million and no one, quality million on a chala to nango, but quality million on a transecular nango. The same standard, the same quality, because now health and the matter important. Then on villages are one, rural communities are one. We can actually have a different way of approaching it. Because when smaller water sources, reservoirs, or clusters, it was a child out one a New Heaven, something like that in the communities. I look at something. It doesn't even have to be metered, but I can water get me. I say, okay, people in this area for every compound they go on every month. Government got subsidized here. They go on a cost trying to produce water for you guys, but now got subsidized here. Uno kubazi go need it. So about 2,000 cook was here now. As soon as kubazi 1,800 naira a month. So why draw? Manakunu where is Mmiri? Because that will significantly impact the health of the people and reduce the burden on the healthcare system. 1. 2, that will change the way Enugu is perceived. So you know what's about be business in Enugu, be invest in Enugu, be building in Enugu. On our back a modern city where you can even move. So when they like it in a village. I don't know if you have an idea. When they like it, too much. Go like 4 plots. No, which are plants, which are trees in the compound. Yeah, or in a city. People will have the courage to do that when the villages are also experiencing the dividends of good governance, just like you have in Europe and the US. So Open ideas if I get more, they found to extend it to the villages, so we don't depend on if a borehole. On our so now, it's a cake, you know. Yeah, that's just the question I'm now. But I have some other questions I want to ask, but that will be later. Another question. Ndewo. Mmiri na agba na city unu. Mmiri na agba n'Awka. Mmiri na agba n'Ọnịcha. Na tap ka m na-ekwu, ọ bụrụkwa borehole. Unu enwe tap water. Another question, not yet.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I thought
I can hear you. Mmiri na agba na tap water na agba na beg.
Can you hear me?
Very well. Now loud and clear.
Okay. I think I don't itself. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yes, but the mic is what's going on.
Okay, you might opening they use earpiece. You might want to unplug the earpiece and speak straight to the mic. You might want to unplug your earpiece and just speak straight to the mic on your phone. That might help.
Okay, let me do that.
So I'm ajụghị mmiri ọ na-agba n'Awka, mmiri ọ na-agba na Anambra, mmiri ọ na-agba n'Ọnịcha. Adịmekwa mmiri well or mmiri borehole.
Well, nke bụ eziokwu bụ na ịma na abịa na Anambra State, mmiri abụkenwe that's major, especially Awka, because Awka bụ ala mmiri. So there were a lot of boreholes, and there used to be water corporation in Awka, and then when we blue, I remember Ebembi Bulu when I was school as undergraduate, and we pipe bomb water battle and buying, you know, and but now there was like that. But now Soludo revived the water corporation in Aroma. But that water corporation, I don't think it is going to various homes. I don't think it is being reticulated to various homes because in Kedia Bunke, I used during the colonial era. You got to go the pipe reticulate old pipes. So most of them are abroad the modern pipes. I think most of them were those. There are this. I don't know the type of pipe material. It's not the same with the current pipe we are using now. So when we pipe with the key I don't know what it's called. So on be used at that time to reticulate water across Awka town at the time. But right now Awka has expanded and the water Soludo, Melona, Roma. I don't think it is serving the entire Awka. It's just a political statement, if you ask me, because beside it, the water corporation office body or the tank. So what it means is that that's a fence. I get to fence. So I don't know how he plans to do that. You know, I get to fence to be able to board or whatever they call it. I saw the building, the fence repainted, and people, especially the newer houses, they are just digging their own borehole, reticulating their own water in their various homes. So, but the old homes that depended on public water corporation are lacking water. So many buildings, you see all these for decades, Alos in the 80s and 70s and early 90s. Mmiri, because Fabia depend China public water. And now public water abazi. So most of them are struggling with that. But modern buildings, everybody is digging their borehole. So that is what is happening in Anambra State. I do not have information on Abia or Imo State, but I can tell you that the major place enwelu water problem bụ n'Enugu State. Ebe ahụ ka enwere major issue as a result of the land, the way it has been. Ọ bụrụ na Enugu dị very easier to dig borehole, nwere onye ga na dị nsogbu maka nya bụ mmiri. Mana because of the way and Enugu si wee dịlị, so it's difficult to dig borehole in Enugu. So it largely depends on the government, and the governments are now play games. As not Uche,
Uche, can you hear me? For the those old buildings in Eku, so how do they get water now?
And they tune milli, boy, no milli. If on the Onitsha, I find any with a muscle. You know, look, the first time
so Obago 3 levels or 4 levels.
4 decking, 5 decking, funny 2 million Abago. And when do I have a ball like this, I say honey to me, like it is like a culture. People mad not to say how far has a country to go the mill. It's so strange to some of us
in 2025.
Mana enwelu side there on nature. Here the American quarters, 3 housing GRA, those places enwere that type of issue. Fan wechalo their own borehole. Ebe a na-enwe this issue na bukenwe awada. Those places are a total high rises. Eba webe ndị low income NRCB. Ema na abịa n'Ọnịcha. Ebe nwelu low income or middle income earners, or should I call them low income earners? Because the economy adigo bad now. Bu Mkpo, Obosi, Awada, Ebenda Nine, then Okpoko. But I don't think Okpoko will that problem because Okpoko bu mostly shanties. And there are low tall buildings no Okpoko. So mostly shanties can have Lebanon. But Awada, Obosi, well, even in Mmiri, some places, and our tall buildings, and with this lack of water, and most of the buildings are in Mmiri, but old buildings. Yeah, Rioge, recently, funny Mmiri. So, so I think they are going out to fetch water. I can't remember the last time from the Madu Bulgalon Nagali J2 million. I can't remember. Unless Monday be now completed building. You got to go on down where you can imagine this the Ndugu mob the middle belt maybe na buy. Most of them they be now completed building. How I can wake full now 1 million na gali. Man, any other person be na beer when borehole is one of the things so mad nanya before renting apartment n'Awka maọbụ n'Ọnịcha. So if I be for now, Kesaludos no omelo. Ijom nkebe eziokwu bụ na onwechara much impact, although enwekwara ndị na-ekwu na fafugo mmiri. Mana ịmago, if you do not have water reticulated to your doorstep, you can't eat mmiri na-agbago 4 decks na-enweghị lift. It's a onwere isi. If you ask me onwere isi. So back I know. I katoni ka my grandma. So we are still where we are in Anambra State.
Because I like if you put up. If your grandmother neku.
You said?
Because if your grandmother neku again,
I thought I katoni ka mweku.
Oh my God! Imana Uche. I would tell me if you could get out tell me if you're not a now. Kiss you na with the soil. Now I would tell them qualify because it's unfortunate that we're actually living a village. Do you know what it means to use borehole? What it means is that you are using inferior water actually because the borehole you're fetching, you cannot drink it. So you're clean water, you cannot drink it. So I know what is Mmiri. So I personally not depend on borehole in any state na Igbo. That thing was an alternative for failure. It's an alternative to the failed system. It's not a sign of progress at all. It's not a sign as of got a problem at all. Because sometimes I'm a geologist, but I'm on them with some soils, some particular place then with soil, and the content of the soil is not healthy enough. So the water in the area are not healthy enough.
We have a lot of hard water, you know, Mmiri, because of the minerals. Some of the water contains a lot of compounds that are not really healthy.
Exactly.
Around Ebonyi State, can lead poisoning because of lead deposit in Ebonyi State, and then where this borehole in some of the homes in Ebonyi, some part of Ebonyi, people tend to have that lead poisoning because of that. So it's not a really good thing.
So many years ago. This is like more than 20 or 25 years ago. Hey, Jesus Christ.
It's the morning show. Once again, welcome to the morning show, Igbo. This is where we gather from all over the world and hold conversations on critical issues, rub minds, share ideas, and find solutions to our pressing needs, and look for ways to also implement and apply these ideas as a collective and even as individuals. And as you can see tonight, we're having a conversation about water supply. Na Igbo. And I don't million na state. Million na yard. Million na bebe no. Makana million will be a big problem for us. On a man effect in more ways than we even recognize. And we have ignored it for too long. So I said that today I gave Benita this conversation and make it an issue, a burning issue, and drive it until the people who are in power listen and do something about it. That's what this conversation is all about. I'm going to be a professional in this field, or even insights as to what we can do or what can be done, because I believe that some people are listening. I believe that people in government also can be listening, because this conversation is spreading and people are understanding that something is going on. And it's important that we speak up and continue to speak on the issues, speak on the facts, break things down, dissect the issues, eliminate all the excuses so that we can understand exactly where we are as Igbo. Because Anya Borondi mediocres. We are not complacent people. We are excellent-minded. We want progress. We want development. And that is why we're speaking up here. We're not trying to cajole anybody, and we're not trying to condemn anybody unnecessarily. We're just trying to hold you. Whether you're a commissioner or a governor or a minister, or a senator or House of Rep member or whatever you are, local government chairman, that reminds me what I was saying earlier about local governments. Actually, the local governments are now having their own money, independent of the state government. So, and well enough money to actually do this project in the
Is it local government in the beginning?
No, I go to Anambra State.
Anambra State. Even
no, that's not true.
That conversation on paper. That's what is on paper. But that conversation is going to be hard. We're going to discuss this issue.
The autonomy.
the autonomy, the Supreme Court autonomy has not taken into effect yet. In fact,
we're going to discuss it.
There's been conversations around setting up the specific accounts and also audit that local government would need to do for that to take off, and which for us do not sit well with us. Just like you mentioned, is a conversation for another day, but that has not really taken effect actually. Yeah,
we will talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, can I move forward? Nedu want them. Edije. We Enugu 1042.
Ọ dị mma na ịma na mbụ onye Enugu, and ọ dị mma na ndị ebe a ma na mbụ onye Enugu. Chuka, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Daalụ. Afọ m bụ Nedu Ani, and abụ m onye Enugu, full-blooded, and ife banyere Enugu na-emetụta m n'obi ọfụma. Agalụ m Federal Government College Okposi dị n'Ebonyi State, FGC Okposi, ebe m ga for my senior secondary school. Mgbe m na-aga Federal Government College, school ahụ. Sir?
Ganiru biko.
Ọ na-agwa m? Okay. So mgbe m na-aga ụlọ akwụkwọ ahụ bụ ụlọ akwụkwọ alụ around 1960 or thereabout. 1960, 1961, the first Federal Government College alụ mgbe ahụ. That was the first, number one, the first structure alụ. Mgbe alụrụ ụlọ akwụkwọ ahụ, ndị ọcha lụrụ ya, ndị lụrụ ya mgbe ahụ lụrụ ya ọfụma, ha lụrụ the structure ọfụma, eji pattern ndị ọcha wee lụọ ya, the hostels and everything. And mgbe a na-alụ ya, alụnyechalụ, pipe niile, pipe mmiri and everything, alụ ya ọfụma. Mana mgbe m bịara ebe ahụ, mgbe m na-aga school ebe ahụ, pipe niile ahụ etinyere onweghị nke na-alụ ọlụ, not even one. Mgbe ahụ anyị na-aga borehole, school nwere borehole, anyị na-aga na borehole ikute mmiri anyị ji asa ahụ. Mgbe ụfọdụ ife nji asa ahụ bụ half penta, mgbe ụfọdụ mmiri adịrọ m ga-eji wee saa ahụ. Nwere ike ịga borehole kịta ife na-ejulu eju na borehole, ịma mkpatanwu mmiri. So by the time you balụ yọkata ewelu kọpụ na-ekunye gị, nwere ike like mmadụ 5 nye gị, atanyelụ gị tanye, so atanyechezielụ gị ya, iweluzie obere mmiri ahụ atanyere gị wee kwọchi iru gị, saa abụ gị, ịghọtagon, sachakwa ike gị small, ịghọtagon, ime rub and shine, yinye efe gị, gaba akwụkwọ, nke ahụ aga. Na ife amelụ mgbe ahụ, between mgbe ahụ m pụ n'ụlọ akwụkwọ ahụ wee luo kịta, enwego change, enwebeghị change. O teela mpụ there, otego mpụrụ there many years ago. 2006 set bụ set anyị, so ọkwa ka ị marụ na o teela. Now mgbe m pụrụ Federal Government College Okposi, emechara mgbe ị gaa esut. Mgbe m gara esut, agara m esut Agbani. Mgbe m na-aga esut Agbani, ebi m na Agbani. Na lọji ebe m bi, mmiri adịrọ ebe ahụ. Anyị na-ayọ biko ka mmiri zobe, ka udu mmiri wee luo, because udu mmiri ize ha na mmiri adị na well, mana aba ha na ọkọchị, before ọkọchị ebido dị sef, well anyị adịrị go up. Anyị abịa chọba ebe anyị ga-ego mmiri. Ị mana anyị na-eje, anyị ga-etreki gaa far places. Mgbe ụfọdụ anyị na-eji ma moto gaa far places, gaa na well ndị ọzọ, ndị well ha ka nweta obere mmiri, gaa na-ego mmiri well. Anyị na-akwụ ụgwọ wee go mmiri well. If I'm many years ago, agachago m esut, pụta from esut, gaa youth service over 10 years ago. As I'm talking to you, Agba na ebe ngalu school, Agba na ebe esut nọ, enwe thousands of university students, enwelo mmiri. As I'm talking to you people, enwe 1 or 2 lodges nwere ike sị gị na ha nwere well ebe a na-adọ mmiri, mana enwe many lodges na around that place na-enweghị mmiri. Aba ha na dry season nsogbu adị. This is 2025. A place like Agba, ebe enwe high concentration of students, cannot boast of ordinary pipe-borne water. Now, these are my personal experiences. Ịbata n'ime Enugu City, many years ago, mgbe ndị ọcha na-achị during the days of colonial masters, mgbe aka na-ekwu okwu coal, ndị a dọọlụ pipe mmiri from Ajali river, from Ajali wee dọbata ya n'ime Enugu city. Mmiri na-agba, mmiri na-agba. Many villages nwekwara mmiri. Many villages nọ na Oji river, many villages nọ na Udi, many villages nọ na Eziagụ nwere mmiri. O nwere common connect na all the houses, mana most houses in those days nwechalụ mmiri. Gọọmenti mere mmiri ọbịa nso, then individuals will lose the mmiri na-abanye na befa. It was, and here clean water. Mmiri a na-aṅụ aṅụ. You drink water, you need to itinye alum or tinye anything very clean. Aga m Ekulu primary school. Mgbe m na-aga Ekulu primary school many years ago, I nwere pipe-borne water na Ekulu primary school. Clean water. Adị m ebu mmiri aga school. Why? Because na tap ga-agba. Anyị ga-aṅụ mmiri. Ihe many years ago. What is the case today? Now, over the years, some part of Enugu na-enwekwa mmiri, mana mmiri ya na-agbazi every day. Even before Peter Mba na-achị kịta, before okwe nkwa ekwe nwaanyị n'elu bed, mma m ga-asị gị ekwenugo gị, ekwenubekwa m, mana nna anụ maka nkwa ekwe nwaanyị n'elu bed. Ịghọtago? So, tupu Peter abịakwa anyị nkwa, mmiri na-agbakwa n'Enugu. Mmiri na-agba n'Enugu. Up to today, mmiri na-agba n'Enugu. Mmiri na-agba na River Valley. Onwe any place na-enwe mmiri n'Enugu, mmiri na-agba almost at least all the difficult 2-3 days ịgafe without mmiri ịgba. Number one, River Valley. Before now and now, ọ dị otu ahụ. Onwe another place, mmiri na-agba na some part of GRA. Before Peter Mba bịa chiba, even time Sullivan gburugburu, mmiri na-agba, mana mmiri ada agba every place, and ọ agba every day. Mmiri na-agba na some part of Wani before now, mana ọ agba everywhere, and ọ agba every day. Mmiri na-agba na some part of Coal Camp, mana ọ agba every day. Mmiri na-agba na New Heaven, mana ọ agba every day, and ọ agba all the places, Oluode, Upper Chime, and just few places. Mmiri na-agba na Presidential Road, Ọnụ Asata, those areas, mana ọ bụrụ every day. Na-ekwu before now. But what have been a big challenge? Why na the whole of Enugu ama nwenwu mmiri for once? Enugu ebidoro na Bisala Road wee kwụsị na New Haven Junction. Enugu bụ ka Enugu City. Mmiri na-agba na some part of Ababa, mana ọ na-agba every day before now. Gịnị ka anyị na-ekwu okwu ya? If anyị na-ekwu bụ, this is 2025. In 2025, there is no need mpa mmadụ, mma mmadụ, nwa agbọghọbịa dịka gị mmachacha ma with lipstick a niile ị na-ete, na nwa mgbọ shawa gị niile, na mini hot cake gị niile, ibulu galọn n'isi si na ị na-eme gị, ị na-achọ ebe ị ga-echu mmiri. O mekiro no sense na ọ dịrọ mma. Daddy gị ibulu galọn a na-achọ ebe a ga-echu mmiri. O mekiro sense. This is 2025. Anyị ekwesịghị ịgafe this level. Ị kwesịrị ịbụ ịnọ na be gị, imepe tap, mmiri a na-agba na be gị. Mmiri a na-agba na be gị. Ịma ihe na-eme n'Enugu? The last 2 times nọ n'Enugu, anọ m na nke my cousin, siding Lomalinda layout, ebe obi na 4th floor, abi 3rd floor, obi na 3rd or 4th floor, I can't remember. Ebe ahụ obi, anyị na-agbatuta anyị na well bịa chuo mmiri, and dry season mmiri ahụ ata, rainy season mmiri na-adị na the well. Ebe obi na Lomalinda layout, ma ebe ọ decide the ESBS. From Lomalinda to government house, how many minutes drive? About 10 minutes drive. Mana mmiri adịrị ebe ahụ. Now, ihe anyị na-eme, mmiri ahụ anyị na-echu, mmiri na-akọla anyị ga-etinyekwu ya alum. Mmiri anyị na-ama na-eji. Do you know that many people nọ n'Enugu ada asa ahụ ọfụma, ada asa mama ahụ ọfụma? Because na mmiri adịghọ. There is no water at all. I went to Mr. Biggs, but Mr. Biggs is Jibo Mr. Biggs. The reason I stopped going to Mr. Biggs now, MFM, and I was so pressed. I was so pressed. Tika, batana Mr. Biggs. Imepe toilet can you gotta go na if heap. Or they can even madu 20 just deposit they say, oh heap. Nam batalike wee gwum, even though you want change yopo, na the thing we see is a wire break. Jimo. After that day, I've never gone to Mr. Biggs. In fact, I don't go to those fast food again. I gonna walk again. For real. I gonna be. Thank God na ShopRite came. I go to ShopRite, I go to Spa if I'm jikwa aka ya wee kwuo ya oga ịbanyezienu since ịbalụ isi anyị ga-enye before ịbanyesikwa na 180 days 180 days agafeela amakwa m ife a na-akọ kịta how many households nwere mmiri n'Enugu how many places nwere mmiri n'Enugu tango na abagoro n'isi kịta now and we are paying 25,000 tanka ịbịa butela anyị mmiri 25,000 after 2 weeks mmiri agwụ achọpakwa mmiri again how many households they waste such money looking for water again. So oga, since you see that he study go the problem malu the solution, why can't you implement it? Oga, why? I signed a lot of contracts, including the SPV contract. And with one contract, billions, about over $100 million, 100 billion naira be waiting. And with that SPV contract, I signed it with one Austrian firm or something, blah, 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 blah. I signed a gear. It is 2 years already. What is happening? The more you look, the less you see. These people are just using us to play ping pong. They don't have our interest. Because naginime, ama eme hana one small thing, everybody will start hailing them. Or they come with hanalo, more with hanalo. Then izuzu ebe ano. No respect at all. They are not doing anything. I traveled not long ago. On where Bengalo, and I'm not my friend. Open they lay gas pipeline. All the streets, they will break in. Can they break here in? They are putting the pipe. A broken end with so much workers. Just carry machine come. A break it in your pipe, cover you to an agapa. Before I mean the next 2 days, I go seal everything. Everywhere they were clean. Popo haja clean all the whole street. Everywhere now, mama. In less than 2 weeks. Check and go is yoku. Okay, for million in a million Peter Mbachok and Mmiri ka household no n'Enugu Mmiri in less than 2 months. 2 be a key 2 months. Uno niile no n'Enugu city we have water. Nna gwu na eziokwu. Ọchọ ka ome ọ ga-eme. Na ọchọ ka ome ọ ga-eme. Mana wickedness. How ma ife ha na-eme? Mana ya dịba, but we just keep pressing them. We keep pressing them. All the very bad, or even with the 2025 that you don't have water. Can we alternative? Borehole. Borehole is never an alternative. We don't need borehole in 2025 in our city. If we see the borehole around the Enugu city, borehole be inside timid village. Village is very, very far. Borehole, not inside the city. Ifele mgbe ndị ọcha nyere anyị mmiri ndị ọcha nọrọzi kịta how many years we are not been able to maintain structure ndị ọcha nyere anyị. Enugu nwere map pipe niile ndị ọcha lecha na ha nche nọ na drawing all of them from A to Z ha nche nọ na drawing ndị ọcha dey make mistake like that. If they want to replace, they just need to bring out the drawing. Ebupụta na drawing ha fọ ebe niile pipe galụ amepia minye the new pipe nke aha gaba. Engineers need oreta afụfụ or brought this quack engineers and we kita ndị na-apụta na-esut na UNN n'izuzu si na all these have big graduates si na have engineer na nwere ife ha ma na abụọ ị na-achụ elu ike up and down. Ndị ọcha ma ife ha lụọ ọfụma. So my dear people, we need to keep speaking though. Ebirom n'Enugu mana na-abata n'Enugu once in a while and ọ na-ewuta m na mmiri adịghọ. We need to get it right. The earlier the better. Or if you feel na mmadụ ga-abata n'Enugu a na-ekwu okwu mmiri ịgazie na hotel a na-ration mmiri na hotel they would ration water. I went to hotel Danik Hotel the last time. They were rationing water na Danik Hotel no na New Heaven. They were I'm sorry to mention the name of Biki where when I papa my people. Can happy maybe business you got mana ọ na-ewuta you na na ration water even na hotel mmadụ amasama ma ha ọfụma ịsa na ahụ ịdị happy na ịsala ahụ ọ na-enye gị joy ị na-esi isi ọfụma na heat a niile na-eme maka na heat na-eme too much ịmana mgbe mbido Enugu amabụrụ na a na-eji na normally na o kwesịrị ịbụ mmadụ nyụọ mamịrị owelu mmiri wee sacha ike ya sachapụcha everything
amabụrụ all these things. Mgbe m bịazi mebe travel, o nwezi ndị m bịa fụwazie mgbe ahụ ka m na ifo na normally o kwesịrị bụ mmadụ nyochacha something ma nwoke ma nwaanyị wolu mmiri sapụ everything wee werizie tissue dry ya mana mmiri ka ị kwesịrị iji wee sapụ ife a. Mana ọ bụrụ fọ ndị nọ n'Enugwu ama nghọta ife a, onye bụ onwe ha na onye bịa ịkpa aka kịta mba ka hapụ ịga ebe a bifo mụ anya n'ebe a bịa for me. Biko daalụ, Chukwu gọzie unu.
na-edu onye akụkọ na-edu ọrụ n'ụwa ịbụkwana nwaka onye ọnụ ike ọya ọnụ ofe esie gị ịnọkwa na nsogbu ajọ ọnụ mana ife na-ekwu bụ eziokwu na eziokwu na-afụ ụfụ, ọ na-afụ ụfụ na ntị, na-afụ ụfụ n'isi, na-afụ ụfụ n'arụ. Daalụ nne ha Enugu my Enugu ọ bụrụkwa sị Enugu. See, the problem with this conversation is that we are focused on Enugu as if not Enugu ka enwe problem maka na ndị ọzọ ekwugo ọhụụ. That is the problem. What it means is that the other states have gone backwards. They are not even demanding Kalu. Ndị Anambra na ndị Imo and ndị Ebonyi na ndị Abia, they are not even demanding ka enwe pipe-borne water. They are not even asking for it because they have already accepted the norm that they are now going to be living like in the village. This is the problem I have with this conversation. Open even in Europe, we had before. Deep in Europe, na North America, or any other part of the world that is advanced, that they will bear me witness. You don't buy water at home most of the time. What do tap? It's in a cup. Or in a fridge. Most of the people are there go milli. Bottle water, for me, go bottle. People are going to tap normal. It's a normal thing. But you can't try it in Anambra State. Even why am I jail no? Can I
take a question, please? If you don't mind.
Who is speaking, Niku?
Oxley.
Okay,
just 30 seconds.
You want to ask a question?
Yes, to Nedu, the guy that
go
just
ahead,
spoke.
go ahead.
Okay, so Nedu, I listened to your submission. So the question I have is, you said Peter Mba, if he wants to solve the water issue, that he would have solved it, but he doesn't want to do it. Now, my question is, why do you think he doesn't want to do it? Because what Peter Mba campaigned on is to democratize water in any state, and that's what. So, is there any reason why you think that he's not doing it, or maybe something that is preventing him from doing it, or is there a business? Is there a business of water that when Peter Mba fixes that problem, that business will collapse, that water business will collapse? So I want you to speak to, based on the way you know Enugu, why he's not being able to do it, or he's being muscled, not to do it. If you can answer, please. Thank you.
The worst thing I will do is to turn into somebody's spokesperson. Before unload the check I can't just wake up and start doing the job. Why am I saying this thing? 2 years ago, for emphasis, 2 years ago, yeah, I would have taken over 60%. Yeah, bro, my own mentally, psychologically, and all sure work, and that work would have given me a lot of job again. You got to go from Germany with contacts from Colombia. Everything was on ground. Everything needed to start the work was on ground. So I can't abroad can get and me accept it. Well, Peter Mba was the person that told us. Okulia, the person that he has studied. Meka the same thing. He said he has studied already. And he knows the problem. And he will solve it.
anyị such isi na ị ga-eme something mee ya isi na ike na ị ga-esi wee mịa na ike ị ga-esi wee mịa otu a mụ na gị si ekwu okwu kịta nye gị ọrụ onwe tomorrow kịta na mkpọ gị ka ị lụọ ọrụ m any job ọ bụ ha na ịlụọ ihe nsị gị lụọ mgbulu polisi kpụlụ gị achọghị m ime anybody egwu mgbulu polisi kpụlụ gị. That is the way I value things and that is the way I was trained. Do it the way you say you will do it. Assign hani anya assign again. Achorom adima like excuse at all. No flimsy excuse. If you know you can't do it, resign and go. So Peter Mbaka Odinaka, Ibia Wani, why he is failing. Achorom excuse. Because any excuse are Kaliano. Imakosi adina excuse akalian ndị tanka pụtakwa eme nka ndị na-alụ ụzọ abịa mee nka enwe ka sị gị na onwe winch nọ n'ụzọ na winch ahụ mere na ama wee lụ ha kịta ka eche dry season by dry season ka the winch na ọ ga-aga holiday ịghọtago the mami water banye na mmiri during rainy season na aga alụ ihe a akụkọ akalia anyị achọghị akụkọ a we want results. Anything na abụghị result aka m adịghị ya otu a nnọkịta ntị m mechie n'akụkọ so achọrọ m ka ntị everybody know here mechie n'akụkọ. Give us results and nothing but the results. Thank you.
Darling, beautiful answer. Senior man, you have the floor. Go on.
Sorry, Okwa still was beg because this is my second account. Can relax no cool. Here my second account I beg because it's still also because one of my brother and my friend, he has been on the listener section. Afia Buhari, Amaram Inanya Amaram Kokania from your own end. Amaram Inanya man, I believe you Afia Harrison.
Oh, Harry Kine, I could call my care to Anwakanya Maronia Haribo.
Because Amaram
request your mic and go to line open. You request your mic. It's open to everybody.
Okay, no problem. That look is equal. Can no. Can mess up as I went you.
Or tea I can win a Judy, or tea you work in a good illegal.
Nah. Never one greatly cobana. Atana mota become greatly cobana.
Anna cholesterol.
Nah, I'm a man greatly cobana. I don't know what I do.
Lose weight. Happy for you.
Madne lijunafo. Mana muna gemwa ọnọdụ obodo nnọnye. Amara maka echi ebe ngafu mana nke nnọgide na eketa ugbo obodo amunye mnye ime otu ọnọdụ dị. Ọ na-akawanye njọ kali otu ọ dị. Ebele na-emekwudo ụmụazị a na-amụ amụ. Maka na ka ntonyite fọ ọnọdụ obodo ọnọnye. Na-enezi anya ụmụazị ndị nke a na-amụgakwa kwado anụ ụlọ ọgwụ na-ejegacha. Kedu ka imi na anya ga-adịzi ya ma ha tonyite? Kedu ka ọnọdụ nke ha ga-adị ma ha tonyite? Anya bụ nnecha anya n'ọnọdụ obodo a otu o si wee dị mpụta mfu ndị na-akwado ndị a ọ na-agba ụmụ obi maka na okenye adịọzi abụrụ mgbe nke nna anyị a ama mgbe nwata ga-afụ okenye otu ọ ga-esikwa ile ugwu mana ọ bụ mgbe kekịta okenye adịọzi n'obodo. Kedu okenye chọka izebe? Kedu okenye ga-afụ arụrụ a na ọ hapụ ikwu? Ndị be anyị na-asị na ekwurekwu na-ebute agha wee nwụọ. Amalụ na mgbe gboo na okenye ada anọ n'ụlọ ewu anwụọ n'ogbe. So ndị nke kịtazi ọ na-agbazi obi maka na okenye na-anọkwu kịta iwu anwụọ n'ogbe okenye a ga-agwakwado gị na onwe ihe ga-eme ọnọdụ anyị fụ obodo nwaanyị ya. Biko na-etufughị oge nwanne m nwoke bụ Anambra first son ekenekwa gị na anyị chasikwa na ofu ebe. Kunye ihe nnachi metụkwa n'aka m njiwe na chitewe bụ maka obodo nsi ya abụ onye Akweze na Anambra steeti Anaọcha o nwere ihe nnezo asị na ọchụchụ nwa m ebe nka m ga-agbana and oto n'osi bụrụ onye Igbo ọ gbachakwa mbọ niile ọ na-agba o jiri obe na egwu onye m ji akwụbụ ụlọ karịa ya ọsọ onye Igbo na Igbo ka ọ ga-abịa ịbịa onye Igbo nwere ike ibi n'ụlọ onye ọzọ mana ebe na-abịa papịa egosigo na ya ịma na odogwu ka ọ bụ maka na onye Igbo na-ezochi onwe maka na ndị Igbo na-agba mbọ ndị Igbo na-enyere onwe ha aka ndị Igbo na-achọ ọganiru Igbo ibe ya maka na anyị nwee mmụọ onye bata ọgbọbata nwanne ya ọ na Igbo ka o si bido o nwere mba ọzọ ọgbọkwanụ nke a na-agụta na mahadum o wee bụrụ na mgba mmiri a na-ekwu maka ya abịa na Anambra steeti obodo m si na ya ọ dịrọ na nke mgbadata anyị a na-akpọ the grassroots level mmiri adị agba na the local level ana ọ na-ewute m maka na ụfọdụ ime ihe na bụ nkwa ndị gọvanọs na-ekwe anyị onye nke bata ọ sị gị na ọ ga-agbanyere gị mmiri na ọ ga-ekpopeli gị years ọ dị na-eso years ka iche imetọpụ ya ajụjụ ị ga-ajụgodo onwe gị otu ọnọdụ obodo a dị ọ na-agbawa obi ọ bụrụ zi m na-asụ ya obodo ebe a m bi kịta n'ụzọ Nsụka n'ike m bi kịta ọ bụrụ onye agbata obi m otinye jeneretọ ebe niile delu jụụ ọ bụla otu ọnọdụ obodo si wee dịzie ihe kpọrọ akpọ anọdụkwa n'ihe isi ka mmadụ ama enye gị mmiri ọṅụṅụ maka na ihe ka a na-asị nnọọ mmadụ jide gị nnọọ ọgbanwee ndị gị dịka ohu n'ala nna gị amụnye gị nye ị na ya biko n'ihe niile ịbịa n'ụlọ ọgwụ ịyọọ biko ka dọkịta fụ gị ịyọkwuo biko na ichi gote ọgwụ ịyọkwuo biko ka dọkịta fụ gị anya ịyọkwuo biko na ichi inwu mmiri ọṅụṅụ biko nu ka anyị chebanye na ihe kwenye na-ekwu bụ eziokwu ka anyị na-ebanye ihe a maa na ihe a metụtara onye ọbụla o pekata mpe n'ọnwa ihe nne spendị na-akpa mmiri ọ bụ na m na-edokobi ya ọ ga-ezugo m igote obele ihe onyonyo bụ telivishọn maka na ama m udu akpa mmiri na-ego akpọgacha ebe acha ịgbọ biko ndị bi na ebe Independence South GRA ịfụ na ha na-apị aka wee na-akpọgacha ebe a na-akpọ maọbụ ha kpọ nne ike ka nchebili ya emekwa na ebe m bi ka nkọzi unu emekwa na m na-akpọ ndị nepa ka anya m ọkụ mbata ọkwa ya bụ na ọkụ na-adị n'ogbe m mana onwuro ka aha ebuli na mgbaba anyị ana n'ike onwere mana ọmụ na-akpọ ndị nepa mta mkpọghasị ya biko na ọ dịkwana ka ọ na-adị bi ha nyetụ n'anya ọkụ ọsị m oke ka ọ kpọ onye otu akpọ onye otu ọ dịta ka eweta ọkụ otu ọnọdụ dị ị na-ayọzi ayọ mgbe one ka ị ya ayọ ka taa yọlụ mgbe
ọkụ ị na-akwụ ụgwọ ya ọkụ ị na-akwụ
ụgwọ ya makwa na ọ na-abụkwunye ọ na-abụkwa na-apụtakwa na enye m low current nke Nechukwu akọbeghị nke anụ ka nkọnụ gị nke ya eji n'abalị low current ka m na-agwa gị ọ na-abụ mbọsị enyi anyị nnọọ anyị ka fie afa ewele ekene Chukwu ọ bụ ka ọha m nọ ndalụkwanụ
daalụ nne ị maara ekwu okwu ama ma onwego onye gwara gị efe ya agwago gị many times ị maara ekwu okwu I send gị meseji na DM a ya amara ife anyị eme unu ga ka isi ekwu okwu a were ya na-eme ife ị maara ekwu okwu nnukwu na Igbo ị na-asụ ị maara ekwu okwu ọ na-afịara ife onye Igbo na-ekwu okwu etu a ọ na-command attention ị na-ekwu okwu onye ọbụla na-ege gị ntị because one na-emeke sense to ịma ka esi atụ Igbo onwe onye na-elotarụ m mana nke gị na-ekwu nke gị with energy so it's even stronger. Daalụ nne. I think Jimmy is next. Jimmy, one them. Ndewo. Jimmy, you have the floor. Okay, it's like Jimmy is not ready to speak yet. Ago Kingsley.
Sir.
Ndewo. You can answer if
all right. Mbo. So I don't live in Enugu, but I'm from Enugu. And from time to time I do for me, I think addressing the issue of water, probably the region, the Southeast region, would have to attend to it as a region rather than individual states. Now, why this is important is that they're quite neighboring states, and for some state like Enugu, you see where they're getting the water from is actually quite far, which is closer to Anambra. So it means there might be some level of collaboration that might be needed from state to state to be able to get this sorted out. Now, this is my own proposition. State government could actually come up with a multi-pronged approach. So, urban areas, you get the pipe bomb water. Rural areas, you provide borehole water that's maybe solar powered, and then you have reticulation points that are taking the water closer to the people, not just providing borehole and then you have just one point, but one borehole that's massive, then reticulated closer to people's home, even within the local community. That's where they have access to this water. And so, but my biggest challenge with the Southeast region generally is that. So let's come to Enugu. I listened to the last town hall meeting which the governor did concerning, and where he talked about the water issue, and he mentioned that in terms of generation capacity, that the state has generated more than what they would require. That the problem is always the issue of piping, regulation, and the rest, which a lot of persons have actually complained about yet. Yeah. And he also made, from his conversation, you could see that it's a problem of resources to be able to maybe relay the pipings. You know, the old pipings that were done before, most of them were done with asbestos, which is not healthy right now. In fact, it's been shown that it's harmful to human. So it means a lot of this replacement might have to be done. Now, this is not taking away the fact that the government actually promised 180 days of the water in people's homes, not just providing water in the state, but getting water to people's homes, which for me he has failed to do. So, but what can we do about that? So, the Southeast region generally, I don't know whether it is an issue because of we Igbos, we are most times we're independent. So we try as much as possible to look for our resources, do our own thing, not tapping into resources that are available from international financial corporations like let's say the World Bank, the IMF. So currently there's funding available to solve water issues, especially and it's called Shorewash. Now it would shock you to understand that the initial plan for that project was just for 7 states, just 7 states. But right now, because of the poor performance of that project, the Showers project, it's been expanded, and they asked for all the states to actually apply into it. You'll be amazed that only one state in the Southeast applied to access that fund. At the end of the day, this fund, this World Bank loan will be repaid by the federal government of Nigeria. Why are our governors not tapping into resources that will enable them to develop the infrastructure within that same region? What exactly is the problem? The same thing you would also find in various other programs. I overheard the governor of Anambra State mentioning the other time that, and he was proud that he doesn't access funding, for example, the World Bank loans and the rest. That's nothing to be proud of. When there's funding that is available for you to develop your state and get more resources to be able to accelerate development, why not take that up? And like someone has mentioned here, you want to bring in the private sector to be able to invest money into the water sector and then get back recoup their investment over time. This private sector will also need somewhere to get the funding from. These are possible funding sources which you can actually bring in a PPP arrangement for it to be managed, and the state recoups the money over time and can repay back the loan and also provide water. So at the end of the day, you have a multi-pronged approach to solving the water issue. So that's one. Secondly, the second issue is an issue of transparency within the whole water issue. I do not think the governors have actually seen water as a priority. Maybe they're not understanding this properly well. If in any location where you don't have proper water, sanitation goes down automatically. And once sanitation goes down, you expose the states to diseases, communicable diseases, avoidable, preventable diseases, and the conversation can go on and on and on and on. In fact, economic activities can even happen in that state. So if you don't have water to drink, how then can you even have water to even engage in maybe large scale agricultural scheme like the Enugu state government is trying to do to go into large scale agriculture? So where's the water that we use in doing that if you can't provide water in the cities? So these are the begging questions we need to look at it, that water in itself, it's not just providing social services, it is a resources in itself. Maybe when the state government starts seeing water as a resources that can actually drive other economic development within their states, then they will provide more priorities in that regard. Then finally, I'll conclude with this. I think it's high time the Southeast governors generally start tapping into the wealth of knowledge of people that do not even stay in the East. So you have people even within Nigeria and people like me out there that are willing to volunteer services to state governments across the region free of charge, just to make the region better. But when each time you not in politics, stay aside. Other states are tapping into our knowledge. Why is our region not also wanting to tap into our knowledge? Other countries are tapping into our knowledge. Why is our region? Why it's our own region from Nigeria not wanting to tap into the knowledge of a wealth of knowledge from people that could actually help to transform? I'm sure what I've shared that now might not even be enough, but if you tap into the knowledge of more experts within the water sector, they will be amazed at the knowledge that they will give to this region free of charge, just to solve the problem of water and also social issues. I think I'll leave my conversation or my contribution at this point. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. Ago. It was Ago. That was beautiful. Actually, it's good to sometimes viable solution. This is beautiful. I would like to have a conversation with you at some point, or maybe you can come again on this show. And then come back again and try. If it's not working, let me just share some tips. When you are trying to join a Twitter space, an X space, and it's not working, or you're having issues, one of the things you can do is to check updates. If the Twitter app is updated, fine. If it's not updated, then that might be the problem. Another thing you can do is to just leave the space, reboot your phone, then come back again and see if anything changes. Because all these devices and all these apps they're not glitch free. You know, they have flaws sometimes. They're not perfect, to put it simply. Once again, thank you, Ago, for that contribution. Jimmy, are you ready to speak now? Jimmy Abia, Esquire. I think Jimmy allowed to go loud on a meeting. Okay, M&A, you have the floor. M&A, can you guys hear me? All right, ordinary girl, because I think you haven't spoken yet. You've been here for a while. You've been trying to speak. Now you found yourself on the speaker corner. You can speak now. You have the floor. If ordinary girl is not ready to speak, let's go to Chikwere.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I need you to reduce the noise in your background so we can hear you clearly. There is a lot of noise in your background, please.
Okay.
So you might want to just find.
Can you hear me now?
As long as there's no noise around you, that's okay. Just try and move away from the noise, and then speak. Go ahead.
But is it better now? Is it better now? Okay, so thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here because looking at the speaker session and the listening session, there are so many smart people in this discourse conversation, and it's encouraging to see that we are coming together to discuss about solution. Because me, I believe in solution. I'm not really recently. I've decided not to be complaining too much because I realize that complaint solves nothing. So I really wish this our morning show can actually metamorphose into an organization that we can leverage to hold our leaders accountable. If you can discuss these things, put them in writing, submit a report, or submit a complaint to the respective offices of our governors or commissioner, or whoever is in charge, that can listen to us. If possible, even maybe, I don't know, but something that we can do to really hit the ground running, trying to make sure this thing work. I know that there are people there that are willing to pursue that if the opportunity is available. You understand? But I really feel we can actually metamorphose into discussing solution or start bringing in solution. Like somebody rightly said, borehole water is not. Sorry, am I audible? Let me be sure I'm not
You're
speaking
audible. Go
to
on.
myself. Okay, like somebody rightly said, borehole water is not, should not be what we should be having in our cities at this century. Do you understand? It's something that we should outphase because it's not. I don't know. I've not been outside the country or outside Nigeria, but I believe that there's no city in USA that relies on boiled water, untreated water. In fact, let me use that word because it's actually untreated. I don't drink boiled water. I'm not rich. I don't have money, but then I try as much as possible to drink clean water. But I believe that boiled water is not. It's not neat. Because it's not treated. Can I just drink something from the ground like an early man or a caveman? It doesn't sit well in my head. In my head, it's not a very right way to live. At the end of the day, how do we get this done? How do we solve it? Some persons are saying that, I don't know, I really wish we can have a professional here, or we have a professional in this session, in the listener or speaker session, that knows about water. Because while we were discussing, I was doing some 99 square kilometer, sorry, 556 square kilometer. That is the city landmass. So I did some research. I was asking Grok and other AI generative AI to give me insight about how many years it would take to transverse the whole city with pipe-borne water. So the average I was seeing from most of the results was 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, 4 years. So I believe that this is not a magic one that you can just use one magic spell and decide that Tinubu should have water, and the next 2-3 months there's water everywhere. We are looking at infrastructure. To take water to all the homes in Enugu, you need pipe-borne water. And those pipes have to pass through places. They have to pass through land. Some land may not be free to act. They may not have the right of way for a particular land. They have to acquire that right of way, legal issue. All this may come up. I'm not trying to make excuses for the governor, but I'm trying to realistically look at these things and see what may be their challenges. If we can see how we can approach them and get them to discuss and tell us what is the challenges. If they tell us and it is not there.
When you go and when you come out and say, I want to be your governor, and you start campaigning, I want to be the governor, this is what I'm going to do, you are putting yourself out there to take responsibility, right? If that responsibility is handed over to you through an electoral process, the people say, okay, go in. The people don't need to go to you and ask you, no, because you are the one who said you are going to take responsibility. Taking responsibility means that you owe the people explanation. It's called accountability. You owe the people explanation as to the reasons why you haven't done what you said you're going to do. And those reasons must make sense. It must make sense. But in a situation where you are avoiding the media, in a situation where you are avoiding embarrassment, in a situation where Ifele and Meggy, your ego is more important to you than the well-being of the people, it shows you're not really taking it seriously. You're not taking it seriously. So when people begin to say negative things to you, what is happening is that the people are reacting to your irresponsible behavior as the leader, because you said, I want to take up this responsibility. So it is not our job to be go and asking about the problem. No, it's our job to say, okay, do what you said you're going to do. Then, this is the reason why I haven't done this. And this is what my plan is now. And this is the time I'm going to do it. From this time to this time to this time, this is what I'm going to do. And there's something that I have said many times on this space. Alex said it again tonight. That even if the job is difficult, you can decide to start with clusters and just choose one place. Choose a case study. Abapa, or Achara Layout, or Emene, or Transekulu. See, okay, in the history of Enugu, I will start with this place. You guys should just watch. Between now and October this year, Mmiri ga-agba na Transekulu. I assure you, Mmiri ga-agba na Transekulu by October 10th, 2025. And you embark on that. If on 25th or whatever 10th of October, Mmiri ga-agba na Transekulu, ndị niile bi na Transekulu, and now report na Mmiri na-agba na befa 24/7, ọbụrụkwa nke na-agba 5 hours. Then you have demonstrated seriousness. People will now start taking you serious. Okay, what is the next? The next one is Ababa. This is how reasonable people work. Let's stop making excuses for people when we know that they have the resources, they have the power, they have the manpower.
So I don't base in Enugu. I don't live in. From what I've been seeing so far, from the government handle and those that are based in Enugu, they say that the project is ongoing, that they are laying pipeline. For those that are based in Enugu that knows that this is. Is this incorrect or is it not correct?
They are lying to you.
But are they laying
if you want to know the truth about a place, listen to the people, not the government. You're not new in Nigeria. If you want to know the truth about what is going on in a place, it's not the government you listen to. The government will save face. It's the people you listen to.
I'm not sure. I don't listen to anything.
I'm just telling you now because you've been on this space for hours now, so you've been listening.
Okay, if they're not doing it, I think it is important that, like I mentioned.
Let me tell you why I interrupted you. If somebody lives in
I understand. I like that you did, and you have cleared me, and I'm happy that I'm clear that they're not doing anything on that regard. It is a good. I now and I said that it's a problem, but like I mentioned earlier before I started, I really wish. I love this show because it gives me insight about most things happening in different parts of the Southeast and Igbo, without me being there presently. It's a good one. Can we see how I'm not giving an insight now. I know that there are people that feel the same way too, like you mentioned, like Agba mentioned, that if we can have a platform where we can bring in solutions, it will really be nice. Because I love solutions. I love solutions. Is there a way we can, because like you mentioned that the governor was voted for, he doesn't need to be told what to do. But there is a book I read, Why Nations Fail. I believe you know about the book, or you might have read it too. So I read that book. It talked about vicious cycle. There's a part of the chapter that talked about vicious cycle, virtuous cycle, virtuous like virtue, virtuous cycle. So what that virtuous cycle discussed about was that in government or in democracy or in a good government, it is important that the citizens keep holding the government or the leadership accountable. You understand? It's something that should continue. It should be a continuous cycle. If they did it in 1990, they should do it in 2001, 2000, 2001, and so on and so forth. It should be a continuous thing. You understand? So that chain of holding government accountable, if it continues, you understand, it always brings forth good results. So what I'm saying is this, what I'm saying in a sense is this: we cannot say that we cannot hold it. We cannot drag him or hold him accountable because he is the governor. He knows all. He may not know all. Definitely, he is not infallible. At some point, he might do something wrong. It is the duty of the citizens to hold him accountable, to drag him.